up, YouTubers? Today we're going to take a look at the Hinderer knives, XM-18 3-inch, designed by Rick Hinderer himself. This one has the working finish, so you can see that nice working finish on it. With a Wharnie pattern blade that is 3.05 inches long, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate that. It says it's a 3-inch, but it's very important to note that. Based on Colorado law, at least, I'm going to go to the very tip, and it is literally exactly 3.05 inches long. So, just wanted to get that out of the way. It's not a 3-inch blade, it's just a little bit over. In any case, this great Wharnie blade is 3.05 inch long of CPM 20 CD super steel. And this knife weighs 3.3 ounces and prices at $425 US, which, given the fact that this is a titanium frame lock and the materials that are in here and the excellence of quality, it's a veritable bargain at this point in time. So in terms of some comparison knives, let's talk about them. I'm kind of on the lower end. You could get various range of Demco knives, 80-20.5. This particular one is the AUS 10A steel with the gravery handles, but you can go all the way to like a $300 with the titanium scales and 3V steel. So that's definitely an option. The Hogue knives, in terms of kind of, again, this is a compound grind, but a Wharnie as well. That's the shark's foot, but it's going to behave, and you know, the sheep's foot is going to behave like that. But the Hogue Deca is in Magna Cut. This is $135, but I've gone ahead and made this a $245 knife with Kieranite scales. So, you know, that's something that's going to be a much thinner blade than the AD 20.5. Going up to some other full tie knives, the EMP EDC Nimble W, very similar. In fact, if you kind of take a look at it, it's definitely a much bigger knife. But if we take a look at those, you know, we line those up, those blades are literally maybe 4 millimeters in difference in terms of cutting space, and they both have a decent choil. Actually, the choil might be a little bit better. Actually, is a little bit better on the Hinderer, so that would be an option as well. But for me, really, the true comparison, just because of the build quality, the consistency, everything, the Triway system, all that it has, is the half-track Wharnie, which is kind of my favorite Wharncliffe knife. Whenever I'm looking for one to do draw cuts like that, I'm going for that particular knife. Let's go ahead and do a couple of like side-by-sides. If you take a look at this one, the blade stock is definitely going to be thicker on the half-track here over on the right-hand side. And with that, you're going to actually have better cutting geometry with the XM-18. If we kind of flip that blade over and we take a look at that, the amount of sharpened edge is literally, again, in this case, probably 2-3 millimeters at the most. The choil is much more functional on the XM-18. This is not a workable choil. I mean, you can kind of stick a finger in the Wharnie for the half track there, but not so. So really, in the end, it's going to come down to the use of the Wharnie. One thing I did want to show is kind of level both of these up, and if you take a look, there is a much more sweep on that one, the half track. This one is going to be much more of a flat, which in the end is going to give you much better kind of grabbing if you're cutting into something, versus it's not going to be kind of sailing away like the other one, you know. So what it doesn't have, though, is as much blade use in terms of if you're on a flat surface, just because it doesn't have that angle. If you kind of take a look at that, you're going to basically not have a whole ton of, you know, space there. So that might be, those are kind of what I think are some comparisons alternative. The EMP EDC, by the way, is $325, and the Hinderer half track is also $425. So you're talking about an exact cost comparison in that context. Let's talk about the pros of this knife. Well, it's a Hinderer, so it has excellent build quality, the Triway pivot system, multi-deployment methods. You know, you've got a flipper. They actually have the thumb studs absolutely dialed in for backside spidey flicking as well, so really good there. It does have the left hand tip down carry position for the pocket clip, and then the right hand tip up. So you do have some left hand capability in this knife. As far as the left hand goes, you know, you're not going to be able to do the backside spidey flick so easy, but the front side and then the flipper, of course, work just fine with the left hand. So I think, you know, relatively left hand friendly. The ergonomics are as good as any. You know, Hinderer has ergonomics just nailed down. Like I said, that forward choil that had pretty fat fingers, that forward choil is pretty usable there. So in fact, like I said, that's one good thing where I really like this one a lot more than the half track there. The ergonomics, so we talked about those, and this is a damn tough knife. It's, you know, it's not the thinnest blade stock, but it cuts pretty well. It really does. It's, you know, you don't have any belly here, so this is going to be for where Wharncliffs are good, which is things like draw cuts, and that was my principal use on this one over the last couple of weeks, was really just that tip. It's just fantastic. So, and you got a really tough knife, you know? So the tip is absolutely wicked awesome. Really love that. And the action, I will just say, I want to kind of go back and talk about that. The action on these 3-inch knives is literally just perfect. They have it dialed in so that it's, the flipper is good. You can try to do this with an XM-18 full size or like an XM-24. Do a light switch. No way, man. You're going to be digging that sharp thing, that sharp flipper right into your finger. And also because it's a little bit smaller, you're not landing right on rough chimping. You're kind of landing just past it. So it really has it overcomes some of the problems of the full size, you know? And like I said, you can get a full, medium size or medium large size hand. You can get all 4 fingers on there. So really, really good there. Yeah, really good. In terms of the cons, well, it's a Hinderer. So there's always availability issues in terms of getting, you know, the Hinderer models. And they tend to sell out so quick. Part of it is, like I said, at $425, they're becoming quite a bargain for a titanium frame lock knife made in the USA with premium materials. And with the modularity that you do have, and that's kind of one of the things I forgot to talk about on the pro side, is it has all the good modularity. You know, you can swap out all sorts of stuff, clips, hardware, go with titanium anodization, that sort of stuff. So, you know, change your scales, go to full tie. So that's a really good thing. But, you know, again, talking about the cons on this one, the availability is just not always there. So you have to kind of not fight for these, but fight to find them. The HRC is, you know, the gig is kind of up. The HRC heat treat may not be optimal for the 20CV, M390, you know, CTS 204P steels, but you know what? You're sacrificing a little bit of hardness for some really good toughness. So I don't have a big issue with that, but it may not be optimal for the steel that it is. And then, per usual, it kind of had a mediocre sharpening job on it. Wasn't great, very functional, you know, may require a little bit, if you want some laser cutting, yeah, you're going to have to sharpen it yourself. So just, you know, kind of a lackluster when you're talking about a knife that's in a $425 range. But overall, what I would say is this knife is a great Wharncliffe expression. Super good. It has the swoop right here for cutting. Very tough, comfortable in the hand. I would say absolutely for the Wharnie, the 3-inch is far superior than the 3.5. It's just, or I can't even imagine like the 4, just because of the way, if you look at that, the ergonomics again, this is literally a perfect expression of a Wharncliffe, a tough Wharncliffe blade. And so in that context, this is great. For me, I'm actually going to be not trading this away. Well, yeah, trading it for some services. So this knife is actually moving along and will disappear from my collection after tonight. But this is going on its way to Rodney over at Naftastic EDC, aka Naftanium. And he's actually going to be doing a little bit of customization for me in trade for my Zermino knives tier. This is one of the greatest knives made, I think, certainly in the bruiser category for me. Just the action, the comfort, and now I have the lock bar interface just absolutely dialed in. So I'm going to be having a little bit of work done on this one. We're going to try to go ahead and put some texturing on here. I'm going to have some radius work done on here just to make those edges a little bit more comfortable. And yeah, so I will say goodbye to the 3-inch XM-18 Wharnie, but it was definitely a good run. It's a great knife. I just don't need it. I have, you can see, 4 other good examples that do Wharncliffe-y things. So hope this was interesting, if not useful, and I appreciate the likes and subscribe. If so, have a great day. Take care.